I'm lucky to get to work with Andy. He is an amazing individual. Andy's story is one of great motivation to me. He came from Vietnam with really nothing.
1982, living 7 people all together, my mom and dad, myself, my sister, and 2 aunts and an uncle, lived in this tiny little apartment. But we thought we got it made. Mom and dad trying to find a job. They don't speak one word of English. So we end up picking berries just to make ends meet. I know that United Way was, helping my family. I remember I was a 5th grader, came home from school, and I saw this bag, 2 bags of food. And inside there, I looked and I saw this package. I have never seen this before. It was waffle. My mom said that, we got this from United Way. They gave us some food because it looked like we needed it. I taste waffle for the first time in my life. Do you know how amazing that tastes? 9 years ago, I was able to have the greatest opportunity of my life. I was chosen, to be part of the United Way campaign. At that moment in time, I saw that symbol, and I oh my goodness, why that symbol looks so familiar to me? It turned out to be that it was when I was 9 years old, that bags of food. When I saw that symbol for United Way, this is my opportunity to repay. I'm looking around and I see that United Way helping millions of people, and guess what? I'm part of that. I'm part of something so big. There's so many people out there like myself, my family, that need help. And some of them may life and death where they don't never make it.
And you don't know what your neighbor's gone through, or what, a customer that you've walked into their home, what they're going through. And so many people out there that have been touched by the United Way and helped by the United Way.
There is a lot of family out there that need help. Not only myself as refugee, but so much family here, American family. If you can just give a little, that goes a long way. If you can give a lot, that's even better. So why not? Because you have that choice. You have that choice to help others.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work for NBC for 26 years. I never thought, never would have dreamed it, never would have imagined that someone like me would have a career like this. It has been a lifelong mission for me to give because of what I received when I was growing up. From Riviera Beach. I'm the youngest of 5. My mom worked hard for this house and put everything in it so that we could have a roof over our heads. I think my mom's work ethic passed down to each of us.
Look at Mom on that one.
No one else in my family had graduated from college, and so I really didn't have a dream of college. Because of the United Way, the community I call home is booming and growing because of programs like the Boys and Girls Club in Riviera Beach.
Yvette played basketball for me. She worked during the summer, and she's always been a very, very strong individual. She has a heart of gold. But one of the things we always talked about was make sure that you give back.
As the leader of the Boys and Girls Club, Gary McKinnon is a guy who sees the potential in every person he meets. When I came of age, I had an opportunity to be a counselor. I learned how to discipline, how to motivate, how to encourage, and how to keep an eye on 32 kids. So I was pretty well equipped for corporate life. Being in part of these programs, reading became not just an assignment. I learned to read to discover. And I started reading, and it just opened up my mind and to other things and possibilities. And that sort of led me to the University of Florida, Palm Beach Post. Eventually, in 1991, I started with NBCU. Those programs give you an opportunity to see beyond your block. And it's so easy to think that there isn't life outside of Riviera Beach, or the opportunities are limited by only what you see. I think in the long run, giving to worthwhile programs makes the community you live in better. Communities of color sometimes bear the burden of being identified as at-risk communities, when in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. These programs are for everyone. I am very much a product of my community. I'm successful because there are the Gary McKinnons in the world who said, come here, let me show you this. Let me make you better at this.
Without donations from United Way, we would not be able to impact our community the way that we do.
I give to the United Way because it matters. I see the results of what money does in my community. And United Way helped me along the way. Now it's time for me to help others.
My name is Beth Baker. I've been at Comcast for about 3.5 years. I am a manager of indirect retail. When I was 9 or 10, my mother called social services to ask for help because I was home alone with my sister. And really the mantra was, when in doubt, take them out. So they came out and did a home visit, and instead of helping my mom, they just took us out of the home. They went through a series of foster homes, some good, some bad. The most difficult aspect of living in a foster home for me was not knowing day to day whether I'd be in that home the next day, not knowing if what I did was good enough to earn me a bed for the next day. Finally, I found a good foster home that I stayed at for several years, and then I aged out of the system at 17. I had no place to go. You're ashamed, you're embarrassed, you're hungry. And I was a kid. I cried a lot. I remember needing to take a shower, so I walked in to a Boys and Girls Club. There happened to me that day somebody from United Way doing a site visit. She asked me a few questions, and I told her a little bit about my situation, and she told me where the YMCA was. I was able to go over there and take a shower. She gave me her phone number. I remember calling her at the United Way, just saying, here, I'm still in this situation. I don't know what to do. And I can't believe nobody else did this for me. She told me where there was resources. She said, you can go apply for state aid. There's welfare, there's Medicaid for you to get health insurance. She told me where the offices were, and that really turned my life around. When I moved to New Hampshire, I knew my life was stable. I was going to get married and have a family, and I wanted to give back to my community. And I don't remember how I heard about CASA, but I heard about it, that they are advocates for children in foster homes, and then it was a light bulb. I said, I've got to do this. This is what I wish I had.
CASA is a nonprofit organization, and we recruit and we train and we supervise volunteers to serve as guardian ad litem in the court system within the state of New Hampshire. And their job is to help marshal the kids through this process. If you have somebody like Beth who has been through at least part of that process, I think that certainly is an added advantage, who better understands perhaps what these kids are going through and the fears that they might have.
And I had to tell the judge what's best for these kids. It was up to me to say what's best for these kids. Having my background, and I made really good decisions for these kids.
Our goal is to be able to serve 100% of the kids that are going through the system that need guardians, and that of course takes time, effort, and it takes money.
If the United Way doesn't exist, people like me don't exist. I give because the United Way impacted my life and changed my life when I was a young girl, and it impacts thousands of lives in thousands of communities. I give to the United Way because they helped me. I give because I have, and I can, and I do, and it matters to me, and I hope it matters to everybody.